jazzing up your day with a touch of soul. The Living Room on 938 Live.
Welcome into the Living Room on 938 Live, and perhaps some of us have experienced the thrill of successfully setting up friends, but that does not make you a professional matchmaker. Anything that deals with human behavior is tricky, I think, but Anisa has become so successful at it. She is Singapore's first millionaire matchmaker. She's owner and managing director of international dating company It's Just Lunch Asia. Thank you so much for joining us today, Anisa.
Thank you for having me.
Busy times for you, I understand.
It is.
Thanks so much for joining us today. Controversially, I remember you once saying in an interview, if you're single, it's your fault. That really grabbed me.
That's right. You know, sometimes women put a lot of obstacles ahead of them, when dating is just supposed to be a fun process. It's a fun way to meet friends and then to widen your social network and just to see who's out there for you. But a lot of singles before coming to me, they seem to be to have the understanding that there's so many expectations that must be met. There's so many criteria, a long laundry list of things that must happen before they can have a meaningful relationship. So yes, sometimes when you grab them at the jugular and say it's your fault, you could be the one responsible for this, you get their attention.
Sometimes, though, it's a little hard to swallow because they have so much pressure already. They feel as though, I so want to be in a relationship. And then suddenly to hear something like that, perhaps it's just to get them out of their comfort zones.
Absolutely. It was just a knee-jerk reaction that we are looking for at that time. But I'm not somebody who would leave them high and dry and tell them it's all your fault. So now, get up and do something about it. We do tell them that, there are ways and means to meet people. And if you only get yourself out of your own way, meaning, let's not put yourself ahead of everything else. Let's just learn the ropes of dating. And
there are ropes to be learned. Fair enough.
And get yourself out there. Yes, it will be difficult. Yes, you may get hurt, but the payoff can also be just as rewarding.
What do you think is the biggest obstacle?
A lot of
too much expectations earlier, like you said. Too much pressure you put on yourself, maybe.
You do put a lot of pressure and expectations on yourself, and the need to fulfill certain requirements before you meet that so-called man of your dreams or partner of your dreams. But a lot of times I feel that women in particular don't want to get into a relationship simply because they feel that they've been hurt before, and they start having a recurring assumption that all men are out there to hurt them. But it's not all men that's gonna do the same thing to you, but it's just a blanket way of assuming that life is just gonna turn out like it has in the past.
So it all sounds very easy coming from you. It sounds very simple coming from you. And of course, you've made a lot of money doing it. Being a professional matchmaker, you're now Singapore's first millionaire matchmaker. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Also, it's a bit of a welcome back for you. Anisa used to be a colleague of ours here at Media Corp. So would you ever say you'd come back?
If they offer me, why not? I still enjoy, talking to people, interviewing people.
With the number of colleagues who are single, I think we might need a professional matchmaker on staff to help us out.
I think that was the earlier motivation when I looked around, and I know that so many of my colleagues were single, and they're great people, successful, with fantastic personality. They just do not have the opportunity to meet the right kind of man. That was one of the earlier motivations why I got into this business, because I know that there's a lot of women or a lot of friends that I could help, and they did. They stepped up, and some of them have been successfully matched, and they now have families as a result of the introduction. So are you putting the offer to me on the table?
I'm not sure I have that kind of power to offer you anything at this stage, except a couple more questions.
Of course.
So we all know that to run a successful business, innovation is something that's quite important. But with something like matchmaking, the product, so to speak, is getting two people to meet and go out and have a good time. That doesn't really evolve much. But you have recently launched It's Just Lunch Asia's Men's Elite Club. So tell us a bit more about that.
Mm-hmm. It came about from the own demands generated by my
clients. But one would
clients.
assume high net worth individuals don't have a problem, but they do.
They do.
What is it though?
Simply
Time.
Because yes, time could be one factor, and the discretion and the privacy that, they are CEOs of, of large multinational companies. They run their own businesses sometimes. They know that, if they put themselves out there, they may be attracting,
let's just say the gold diggers. Yeah. Okay.
Women that may not be right up their alley.
Okay.
So they want their needs met, but in a very professional and in a very discreet way. So they were the ones who actually came up to me and said, Anisa, would you be able to offer something like this for me, knowing who I am and what I'm looking for? But I just need more hand-holding from you. I just need more attention from you.
Interesting, these powerful people who are so successful in the professional realm.
They're so used to outsourcing their personal life. They may have their own masseuse, they may have their own sports trainer, their gym instructor, whatever that may be. They have the resources to do that. So for me, it was just one of those approaches that they are willing to take, because this involves their personal lives.
So these high net worth individuals, how else are they different from, say, the regular folk, so to speak? It does sound a little bit like their behavior is already slightly different.
They are. I wouldn't say that they are regular Joes. They have their trappings of their prestige. They command a certain level of status at the same time. But they are regular people, meaning they have needs, they have desires, they have this gap between what they want and where they want to be, and that is the prime motivation for them to come to me and said, I need help. And they're not so worried about how that comes across, because they've been known to outsource, like I said, many things, many aspects of their lives. So it's just one of those things that they know what they want and they're going for it.
Is it challenging managing high net worth individuals? Is it, say, tougher matching them with their, Ms. Right or Mr. Right?
Most of them have already established some form of relationship with me. I know who they are, and I know their behaviors, their attitudes, their personalities.
Perhaps their small quirks.
More quirks, yes, but they're go-getters. Essentially, they're go-getters. Unlike regular people, they have removed a lot of their self-limiting beliefs about themselves. They feel that if they want something, what's really stopping them from getting what they want? So they take action, and with that, they would rope me in to help them get to where they want.
That sounds like perhaps it might be slightly easier when it comes to helping out a high net worth individual versus, I hesitate to say, the regular Joe. A lot of your job is like a counselor. Mm-hmm. You've got to get a person ready to meet the world, so to speak, if they have self-worth issues, if they have confidence issues. It's about you holding their hand and talking them through it.
Absolutely. And that's why, over the last 10 years that we've been in this business, I feel that I would rather go deep with my services rather than go wide, because after knowing and getting to know a lot of clients, and they are comfortable with the way that I handle their accounts or their lives, they would rather that I handhold them in certain areas of their lives. So we have also spun off another division where I personally coach a lot of women, especially when it comes to issues relating to self-limiting beliefs, their self-worth, what is it that they're looking for that they can't get at this point of time. So, so it has become a very transformational experience for a lot of my clients.
Sounds good. We're just going to find out that awful number, 40 for women, and you're single. What's going to happen to you? Oh dear. Anisa on hand to help us out. She is the owner and managing director of international dating company It's Just Lunch Asia. And I'm thinking, since she's a millionaire, she should be buying us lunch every now and then, don't you think? Stay with us on The Living Room, 938 Live.
The Living Room on 938 Live. Time now to rejoin The Living Room on 938 Live.
Thanks so much for staying with us on The Living Room on 938 Live. We're chatting with owner and managing director of international dating company It's Just Lunch Asia, Anisa Hassan. And thanks so much again for joining us today.
Thank you.
And we understand that this multi-million-dollar company was something that you always felt close to your heart, this business, so to speak, this putting of people together and all that. So earlier we were talking about the dreaded number for women, I suppose, 40 and single. And I have spoken to other practitioners of matchmaking, the profession, and runners of companies, matchmaking companies, who say they stay away from women who are over 40 just because perhaps they might have certain expectations that can't be met. They don't temper perhaps those expectations. But you're the opposite. Come one, come all.
It comes down to educating them, to tell them that, you can enter the dating pool at any age if you're ready, right? And there's too many weddings that I've attended where the bride is in their 20s, 30s, 40s, even 50s. So, I've always been challenging this marriageable age range that people put out there. And a lot of women find it difficult, especially in their 40s, to re-enter the dating scene simply because they feel that they have past their shelf life.
Okay.
And so they self-censor themselves. It becomes very inhibiting for them to take the next step, because that's what they were told, that their chances or their opportunity to meet somebody decrease dramatically once they pass their marriageable age.
Other practitioners that I talked to had talked about how their expectations were perhaps too high. Women in their 40s, they had expectations of meeting single men of the same age, but unfortunately for men of that particular age range, they might not be available. What would be your advice to women in their 40s? Single. Some of the challenge that they face more challenges.
That's right. Dating is the same whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s. You must understand that you need to get in there and do the process and do a little bit of heavy lifting. You need to do the work. And so, yes, expectations are normal, but you need to understand that you're out there just to meet friends at this point of time. You cannot put the cart before the horse and say, I'm looking for a husband and I was supposed to get married yesterday.
Is that something that you see perhaps the biggest mistake that women make is to have this, I hope he has a Tiffany box in his pocket.
That's right.
On the first date.
And that's why it comes down to educating them, to say that, hey, look, there are different ways to meet people. It doesn't have to be through my dating agency alone, as long as you're out there, feeling vulnerable sometimes, you don't want to do the work, but you want to be in a relationship. So how is that going to be possible? So I always encourage them to take that first step. And whether it's online dating, whether it's offline dating, take that chance, take that first step, because the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Right. And whether you're in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, there's no telling who you're going to meet when you physically put yourself out there and let your good friends know that you are looking for good people to be introduced to.
Weekends must be crazy busy for you, because I'm assuming all of your clients will invite you to the weddings. So
yes, we have
crazy number of weddings to go to, right?
We have had 400 known couples who got married as a result of our introductions. Yes, I have been invited to many, many weddings, but I always make sure that they understand it was not just my own effort; it was a team effort as well. So
invite the whole team too.
Invite the whole team, or at least we send representatives from our office to attend different weddings on the same day. So that happens sometimes.
It must be so heartening for the team and for yourself when those weddings happen, when those unions are successful.
Absolutely. I had one lady who was on a wheelchair, and she was the mother of the bride, and her daughter was, I think, in her early 40s when she got married. So she was on a wheelchair, and when she saw me, after being introduced by her daughter, she actually got up from her wheelchair and gave me a tight hug and said, "Oh my God, thank you. You are able to do what I'm not able to do. So thank you so much, for helping me with this." And she's the happiest mother for the day.
So tell us a bit about the new book, Stressless Dating Solution. Are you afraid once we grab hold of this book that they might not need you anymore with all the great tips in there?
I think at every point in our life, we still do need some level of coaching or some level of hand-holding. You can't be very good in karate or in taekwondo just by reading it off the book.
Right.
You need to go out there and practice it, right? So there will be lots of tips that can be found in the book, especially when it comes to shifting the mindset, because this is something that I would say in a way revolutionary, because it questions you and your beliefs and your expectations, and if you're open to suggestions, and you're open to trying out some of the tips, some of the recommendations that I make in the book, you would come back to me and say, this is what I did and this is what happened. So I believe that it's going to be an ongoing business doing this, and it's really fun helping people transform their personal lives.
What's next? Is there a goal? 1,000 weddings or something?
Not at all. I think sometimes, people are too caught up with chasing the next wave, or, starting another business, another company. For me, I'd like to savor in the moment, when I successfully match a certain individual, I take the time to really enjoy that moment and be reflective and sharing the good news with my team to say that they've done a good job. I was there to guide them, but they were the ones doing the heavy lifting for me when there's 12,000 people that we need to tend to at this point in time.
Sounds good to us. So might we look forward to another book perhaps, or another offshoot of It's Just Lunch Asia? Right now it's Men's Elite Club, maybe Women's Elite Club. Absolutely.
That's a thought that I can certainly entertain.
Sounds good. And the idea came here first, okay? I got the idea first. A big thank you to Anisa Hassan, who used to be a colleague with us here at MediaCorp. We're hoping to see you more often. Thank you for joining us today. She is the owner and managing director of international dating company It's Just Lunch Asia. Recently launched Men's Elite Club, and also a new book of hers, Stressless Dating Solution, in bookshops, I'm sure.
They can currently purchase it from my website, which is stresslessdating.com. And subsequently,
easy enough?
Yes. The physical book will be hitting the shelves soon.
Sounds good to us. Stresslessdating.com for you to get yourself a copy of Anisa's new book. Thank you, Anisa, for joining us today.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Looking at life from a different perspective. The Living Room on 938 Live.